Okay, I know I said I wouldn't do MTV Decoded anymore, but oh my god, it's so easy. And I know not a lot of people seem to be enjoying those movies anyway, but I like to make them because they're funny. And once again, I get to bitch and moan on Franny Ramsey. Or maybe I should call her Tranny Ramsey from now on. Nah, I know that's a low dig. Never mind, but let's continue. Here we go.
Hey friends, it's Transgender Awareness Week, so we have a very special guest. She's an incredible illustrator and trans activist with some of the best hair on YouTube. The one and only Kat Black.
Hey there, this is gonna be fun.
Ooh, Trans Awareness Week. Because you can only be trans for 1 week a year? No, I misunderstood that, didn't I? Probably. Yeah. And the best hair on the interwebs. I'm pretty sure that's not her actual hair though. Looks like weave. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong.
So this year has been huge for trans visibility, with celebs like Laverne Cox, Jamie Clayton, and most recently Caitlyn Jenner making headlines and gracing magazine covers.
The same Caitlyn Jenner that won the Woman of the Year award, even though she hasn't completed her transformation yet, because she still didn't have her transgender operation, so to speak. So in effect, the only thing she's doing is she's calling herself a woman, though everything about her is still men. Is your Woman of the Year? I'm sorry. I don't want to make fun of transgenders. Don't get me wrong. I do want to make fun of this though. The Woman of the Year 2015, according to Vanity Fair, is a man. Oh, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Visibility is awesome because it helps shed light on the issues that trans people face and inspires trans youth who may be struggling with their identity.
But there are still lots of people who aren't so progressive when it comes to talking about trans people and trans issues. And with the holidays coming up, you could end up having some slightly uncomfortable conversations around the dinner table.
Yeah, that's true. There are lots of things people should be aware of. And if you are trans or gay or a banker, be sure that when you meet the family, you will have some difficult discussions because people might not understand or agree with your choices. But what did you want then? People have to accept your choices because you made them. I mean, isn't this part of your choice? The fact that you are an individual and therefore you do things differently than other people think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think transgender people and gay people and bankers should be accepted, at least by their own family. But at the same time, expecting that they should change their behavior is also somewhat unfair because basically what you're saying is you do not accept them now. Did you realize that? I'm sorry, of course you didn't. You're Freddie Ramsey. Never mind.
But don't worry, we're here to help. Here are 8 comebacks for transphobic relatives over the holidays.
Yep, 8 things that you need to change in your behavior just in case you meet someone that's transphobic.
I just don't get it. Men are men and women are women. It's just biological. Whew. Okay, here's some Gender 101. You need to know the basics on 2 terms. Transgender describes someone whose gender identity differs from the sex the doctor marked on their birth certificate, and cisgender, or cis, is someone whose gender identity lines up with the one that they were assigned at birth.
Yeah, and right off the bat, this is just about the worst advice you can give a person. You want to be transgender, well, maybe you don't want to be transgender, but you are transgender. This means you are the exception. This means you have to be able to explain to people why. Telling them you are this and they are wrong, or they are cis, or they are whatever you want to call it, is pretty dumb because it takes away from your choice. It becomes something else when you start butting heads with people. Your Aunt Flo and your Uncle Ernie are still human beings. And they knew you when you were a little toddler, so they will probably listen to you. They want you to be happy. So don't start out by being a dick. That's my primary advice. I wonder what other transgenders think of this. And I mean real transgenders, not the social justice warrior types.
Caitlyn Jenner? No way. I'm still calling him Bruce. Respecting a trans person's name isn't so much to ask. I mean, sure, it might take a little getting used to, but her name is Caitlyn now. Say your friend Jessica said she wanted to go by her middle name. I don't think you'd really challenge her on it.
Yeah, no, Franny, you're wrong again. If someone has a problem with you changing your name for whatever reason, don't start a fight over it. They have to adjust. But forcing them to adjust will only make the situation worse. So, if they want to call you Jack even though you want to go by the name Jacqueline, you know what? Ignore it. And don't ignore it in a fighting way. Whenever they call you Jack, just respond to them. But whenever you refer to yourself, refer to you as who you are, who you feel you are. And then at the end of a conversation, say, you know what, thank you for the great conversation, but please, I would prefer it if you call me Jacqueline from now on. But if you constantly start the conversation like, no, I'm Jacqueline now, trust me, that's not going to help you. It's going to create a very unpleasant situation because you are causing a fight. Is that really how you want to be with your family and friends? I doubt that. Well, maybe Franny Ramsey wants that, but then again, I doubt that she has a lot of friends. Well, maybe she has, I don't know.
Okay, whatever. I still don't want men in the women's bathroom. I mean, someone could get raped. First of all, trans women aren't men. Last time I went into the men's restroom, dudes just thought I was in the wrong restroom. I don't know about you, but I don't really think about the genitals of a person who's peeing next to me. That's kind of weird and private. There's also really no reason for single-stall restrooms to be gendered. And when it comes to rape, if a man wanted to sexually assault a woman, no trans law is gonna stop them. Plus, there are more cases of trans women being on the receiving end of violence in the restroom.
Yeah, I don't really see how the bathroom stall bullshit has anything to do with transgender, to be honest. I wouldn't get upset by it if I were you. I mean, it's annoying, but it's just conservatism trying to get to grips with what's happening. It takes some time. They're not the fastest in the world. We know this. Just give them the time. Don't worry about it.
But here's what I want to know. Has he had the surgery yet? Does he have lady bits? Well, what surgery someone has or hasn't had isn't my business or your business. Trans bodies are not public domain. And trust me, if that person wanted you to know, they'd tell you. Worry about your own genitals, please.
Yeah, bad advice is bad. Well done, Franny, for making a fool of yourself once again. Listen, if you're trans and people ask you about your sex operations, then it's not just about sex. It is also about them being curious. It's about them wanting to learn. Give them honest answers. And an honest answer can also be, you know what, sorry mate, I don't want to talk about this. That can be an honest answer too. But don't pretend that it's this huge issue and you're not allowed to talk about it because, again, you are the one that's creating a new situation. So you are the one that has to try and create clarity about the new situation. And don't worry, if people don't understand, that says something about them. But if you do not want to tell them, it says something about you. Are you really going to be the person that wants to change the world, but no one is allowed to ask you why or how? Don't be that person.
This girl I know from high school is transitioning to be a man, but I have a feeling that she's just a lesbian. Well, some trans people are gay. Sexuality and gender identity aren't the same thing. Sexuality is who you go to bed with, and gender is who you go to bed as. Plus, you can't really tell somebody's sexuality or gender by how you perceive them. But unless you're trying to holler, why do you care?
Yeah, this is another one I agree with, to be honest. I mean, if she is lesbian and therefore wants to be a man, who cares? These are two distinct, different situations. One is your sexual attraction, and the other one is your identity. Does it make a difference, though? I mean, yeah, he wants to be a woman because he likes men. How does that make any difference whatsoever? I mean, there are men liking men, there are women liking women, so that doesn't explain why they would go trans. So there is more to it. And if we know there is more to it, then how come this is even a talking point? Listen, people will not understand you when you choose to change your gender. This is something they will need to learn to live with, and you need to make it clear to them. Do you need to make it clear to them? No, if you don't want to have any contact with them, then don't give a fuck about what they think. But if you do want these people in your life, then yes, you are the one that has to explain to them why these things happen, because they don't understand it. And can you blame them?
You're not a man or a woman? Then what the heck are we supposed to call you? If you don't know someone's pronouns, using they is a really safe bet. I usually hang back and listen to how my friends and family refer to them before inserting pronouns into the conversation. However, sometimes it's just best to ask. A simple, what are your pronouns, can go a really long way. And remember, some pronouns are preferred and some are non-negotiable.
Yeah, no. Fuck that. If this is how you're going to treat your family and friends, then you're a bitch or an idiot or a kuffar or a whatever swear word you want to call yourself. And those pronouns you can keep. I don't mind. You can go by he, you can go by she, you can go by they, you can go by whatever you want to go by. But that does not mean that people have to tell you this. If someone is talking to you, they can talk to you. Hey, how are you doing? Not, hey, how are they doing? Fuck that. Don't be a bitch. Really. Damn. That this is even serious though. This is painful is the word I'm looking for. But seriously though, you're a transgender, so you're going from man to woman or from woman to man. So that's from he to she and from she to he. I mean, we're talking about transgender, right? We're not talking about tumblerite, are we?
They? People actually go by they? That's not even grammatically correct. We actually use singular they all the time. When someone cuts you off at an intersection, you'll usually say, they cut me off. They can be singular. It's not that big of a deal. Besides, grammar isn't really a good excuse to disrespect someone.
Yeah, I'm going to partly agree. Grammar is not a good reason to cut people off. Being idiots is though. They cut me off is a general talking about general people. There is no specific person in mind. You want to be a general person. You do not want to be an individual. And you know what? Fuck you if you don't want to be an individual. If you're a he, you're a he. If you're a she, you're a she. You can decide which one of these two you can be. But do not expect people to start calling you something else. I mean, your closest friends, maybe. But don't be upset if they don't. Just like Laura Sodden once said, oh, I identify as an attack helicopter. This is stupid. This is ridiculous. Yes, it is. But guess where it comes from? Again, if you're a transgender, you're a transgender. People need to learn to live with it. But don't become a tumblerite. Seriously, this is bad advice. How much of this nonsense are you going to push on us, Franny?
You know what? Caitlyn makes a pretty hot lady. I wouldn't even know she wasn't a woman. Well, she is a woman. Look, I realize, wow, I had no clue they were trans, or he looks better than I do is meant to be a compliment, but trans folks don't need assurance that they look cis. Trans people come in all shapes and sizes, and some people want to pass and some don't. Both are valid.
Yeah, no. At the moment, Caitlyn isn't a woman, she's a drag queen. Nothing wrong with that either, to be honest, but she isn't a woman. So, bad example is bad. But even if she were, yes, you don't have to say, oh yeah, well, she does make a good looking woman, she looks better than I do. Yeah, you don't have to say that. I mean, every compliment can be a microaggression, right? For fuck's sake, Franny Ramsey. Are you trying to get people offended? Oh, no, don't give her a compliment that she looks good because it's offensive to her. Don't give him a compliment that he looks good, it's offensive to him. I'm sorry, everything can be offensive. If you cannot take a compliment, this says something about you. You are not giving points to help people deal with it. You're setting people up for failure. Why are you doing this? I thought you guys wanted to help the trans community. This is not helpful. Anyway, let's continue. We're nearly done through your tripe.
Hopefully, you're able to use these comebacks this holiday season or any time of the year.
Yeah, this is just the same subscribe bullshit that she puts on every video. I do too, I don't mind, but I'm not going to show it because it's absolutely of no interest to this one. What I am going to do though is I'm going to give my own advice for trans people because this is a difficult situation they are in. And if they follow social justice warriors' advice, they're going to be even in more dire water. There is a reason that the second largest group of people committing suicide, or actually they're the first, but in numbers they're second, is trans. The first being men, obviously, but yeah. And that reason is because society doesn't know how to deal with it properly. And the worst part is we cannot teach society to deal with it properly. We have to teach ourselves as trans people to deal with it properly. If you cannot teach yourself how to deal with it properly, I'm sorry, you're going to go into a beating and you will get hurt. You can't change the world around you. If you want to change anything, you should change yourself. Anyway, I did give you a few advices already and I'm going to put them in line. First off, identify the way you want to identify. Whether people agree with it or not shouldn't make any difference. You want to earn their respect, you do so by being respectful. That means you do not start demanding things of people. You are the one who wants your situation changed. They are the one that have to adjust to it. They will adjust in their time, not in your time. If you want to push the point, then be ready to be pushed back. People do not like it. They have to, I don't know, be coached into it. So be accepting of their inability to deal with it. The more of a fight you make out of it, the more of a negative point you make out of it, the more of a negative point it will be. Will this be easy for you? No, it will not. But please remember, it's not going to be easy for the people around you. And are they to blame for it? No, they're not. Don't get me wrong, you are not to blame for it either. But this is how people are. And if you have gender dysphoria and you want to switch your gender from one to another, then okay, I hope you have a happy life. And trust me, most of the people around you hope you have a happy life. But they will need time to adjust to the new situation. Give them that time. And if you do not want to give them that time, cut them out of your life because you're not helping anyone by forcing your issue. Not yourself, not them, not transgenders from the future. This is basically the only advice I can give. Be honest, be fair, try your very best not to be insulting, try your very best not to be insulted. Even if they make a dig at you and that dig is definitely negative, you know what? Just shake your head and say, you know what? I don't like this. Please don't do this. But don't make a big deal out of it because it only becomes a true fight when two people are fighting. And be the second person so that you always have the choice to walk away. Does this mean that you might lose people you love? Yes, you might lose people you love. I'm sorry. I mean, transgender is a big issue. You made a big choice. And a lot of people will have a problem dealing with it. And the only way that you can help them deal with it better is by being accepting of them. Do not demand them to be accepting of you. You're the one that changed the game. You are the one that is positioning yourself in a new way. Do you have every right to do so? Yes, you do. But they have every right to have a problem with it. And whether they are right or not is absolutely not an issue because it doesn't change a thing. You want them to be accepting of you, then you be accepting of them, even though they have a problem accepting you. That is the only way you can help them help you. Making a point out of it, starting with the tumblerite name calling thingies. No, no, I want to be known as they, or rubbish like that. That's going to make the situation worse. Please do not go there. You are in a difficult situation. The people around you are in a difficult situation. Carry them, and then they can carry you. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. And I know people like to think about the brave Caitlyn Jenner because she went from man to woman. No, she's a drag queen. She's still a man. She still has all the man bits. But she wants to be called a woman. Yeah, fair enough. I could call her a woman. I don't care. But as I said, she's a drag queen. See how nice I am? I did say she. And there is nothing wrong with that because I've met drag queens in the past and there are some really good people amongst them. There are some bitches amongst them as well, don't get me wrong. But then again, there are bitches amongst normal people too. There you have it, the word normal. You know what normal means? The average. So what is normal? The average. Okay, so you went from one sex to another. Are you then the average? No, you probably never will be. Is that then so bad? No. Why do you want to be the average if you also want to do this? Should you then call normal people cis? No, because you're trying to give them a name to excuse the fact that you are changing. Don't make this about other people. Make this about yourself. You are the one to stand in front of the rest of the world to say, I'm sorry, but I switched gender now. Please accept me for who I am. But as soon as you're going to stand up in front of the world and say, Oi, listen up, I changed gender and this is how you need to talk to me, people will just laugh at you and they will ignore you. But if you ask and politely forgive them whenever they transgress, you will find people on your side. I hope you choose for that one because you are worth it and the people around you are worth it. And this is something people like Tranny Ramsey will never understand. But that's because they are all about hate. And hate will not help you. So please don't listen to them. Anyway, if you enjoyed this little movie, please like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Criticism, as always, is more than welcome. And I really want to reply to whatever you have to say. And I wish you all a good day.